Hey everybody, welcome to Comic Book Curation. I'm Polly, and joining me, as always, though not recently, is Inquisitor. Quiz, how you doing?
I was stuck in the void.
You Oh, you were stuck in the void.
Yes.
I was like, what were you saying to the void? I thought you said you were talking to the void. I was
I
like,
shout into the void too,
no,
but the void
no.
doesn't listen.
There you And rounding out our triumphant of awesome, though not for a while, is Jack from Bad Comic Reviews. Jack, how the fuck are you?
Oh, not bad. The Void asked me to tell Quiz to respect the restraining order
Oh,
and stop yelling at it.
well, that's not going to happen.
You know what I'm going to do?
Huh.
I'm going to put a captured chat up on the screen.
Oh, yeah, because that's not up there. Smooth Yoda is, though.
Well, yeah. Well, now it should be Spider-Man Noir now.
Oh.
And you know what?
Thanks.
Just for the record, I put 9, count them, 9 new images to sort through in the bottom right-hand corner. I haven't seen one yet. It's making me wonder if they're even in there.
We'll see him eventually.
Yeah. A lot of them are, they're cool. They're like, there's a lot of pulp images from early pulp magazines and stuff. Like,
Oh, fuck yeah.
yeah, ladies with guns and watercolors and stuff. It's fucking awesome.
Well, I told you about that one book that I got over Christmas. Bought myself. It's a whole bunch of it's a collection of a whole bunch of pulp novels. One of the first ones is by Dashiell Hammett.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. You actually picked it up?
Oh yes.
Oh, very
yeah,
nice.
I did.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't send out the tweet. Let me do that. It's been a while. Give me a break. And it's off. There we go. Okay. So how's everyone doing? It's Vortex is here, and holy shit, everyone's here. Becca and Evolved Potato already putting up our links. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. And
Yeah,
Angela's here, and Lion Patriot's here, and Jacob Jet's here, and Eve says hello. Well, you can go ahead and tell that we said hello back. Oh yeah, we're streaming up against her right now, by the way.
Which... Yeah, we're streaming up against a lot of people. Frosted Glass is doing MST3K.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, every Friday. And Monkey and Setsu were doing a game stream, and Eve is doing a stream, I think.
Yeah, so you know what? I lost track of that. Today was Friday as soon as I was done doing Friday daytime things. Like I was running around doing stuff that I knew I had to do on Friday, but then as soon as I got home, I completely forgot that it was like a Friday night. I had nothing planned for tonight, and I was remembered that I had said to you guys that we were going to do comic book curation. We're going to put it off and put it off. And we're going to do it now. And so here we are. And the sad thing is that these guys haven't been reading comics. I found out, which is just...
I've been reading comics. Quiz hasn't.
I've been wanting to, but I haven't been able to find the time.
Well, yeah, I can't say I've been reading a fuck ton, but I have been. You know what? I've been reading old stuff. I don't know what the fuck's going on. You know how far I am behind with all the new X-Men's? Like
fuck the new X-Men.
Excalibur and not Marauders. What's the other one?
X-Force? Excalibur?
Nope. Excalibur.
New Mutants.
No. Isn't there one like the loners, the losers, the wanderers, something like that?
Marauders?
Is that Marauders? Is that the one I'm trying to that I said
wasn't? Or they're on a boat?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's Marauders.
See, I've got this I've got this new series that I started on my channel. Movies I barely remember. I should do that. Comics I barely remember. So there's these guys.
Yeah, right.
And they were on a boat, and
they were totes doing some stuff.
Totes my goats, bro.
Like I said, well, I started that series because it's the coldest thing I can think to say about a movie or television show episode. It made no impression on me at all. I mean, there's stuff I saw stone fucking drunk and recall with clarity a whole bunch of scenes because it was a great movie and there were characters that made an impact and you were like, holy shit, wow, that's deep drama, what's going on right there. Holy fuck, is he going to find out what happens when the blah, blah, blah? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're invested, you care.
Let me sum up Marauders' first issue in like a couple sentences here. My impression anyway, and then you can tell me what you thought of it, if that's okay. One of the X-Men regulars isn't allowed on the island, and she's Jewish. And I've already made comparisons to the X-No state. So yeah, that made me lose interest right there. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about this.
I am.
Gives you the big think.
It does, especially after you read X-Men issue 4.
Yeah, you warned us about that, and I haven't read number 4 yet. And actually, I'm 2 issues behind on Excalibur, which I still remain tentatively optimistic about. Because like
I gave up.
Did you?
Yeah, I gave up. Issue 3, I was like, I'm done. Fuck this. This is dumb. It's taking too long to get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, my central problem with Excalibur is that it doesn't have Rachel Summers in it, which I think was a huge mistake.
Yeah, and Brian Braddock.
Well, yeah, but at least they brought in Betsy Braddock and made her Captain Britain, and I like her costume design, and she's the new Captain Britain. I like the
costume. It's fine temporarily, but is it going to be temporary? Well, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's going to be more replacement shit, and it's just lazy at this point. They lure you in, and then they disappoint you. It's like speed dating.
Marvel has always been about that stuff. I mean, remember when Captain Britain was the Muslim woman?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Well, it's only been like the last 10 years, and I blame Joe Quesada for a lot of it.
Oh yeah, Joe Quesada is the worst.
I hate him. He's fucking douche.
I don't know. I really come to a position of thinking that it's like, how do you have your Ethan Van Sciver's and other people talking about like, how do you get comics back to like a fever pitch of the 90s and early 2000s? Well, not early 2000s for Marvel, but like that. It wasn't all just the speculator boom. It was also that there was an excitement about comics and interest about comics, including the characters, right? Because there was a lot of the animated series were out, especially X-Men, but also Spider-Man to a lesser degree. Marvel cards blew up, right? There was a lot of interest in and around the characters. If you can't figure out a way to ride the gravy train of the MCU, you are an incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point because like the highest that Marvel ever had its engagement was in the 90s. You know, when it had things like the animated series Spider-Man was on fucking MTV. Mm-hmm. And MTV was like the cultural, mecca of what, pop culture was centered around, right? Like everyone, if you were a teenager, watched fucking MTV and cleaved to it. And if they can't then now in this new age when MTV is largely irrelevant, but the movies have such massive attention, if they can't ride that into comic book success, then they're failing as a company.
You know what I would have done to ride off the success right off the bat? Remember, like Ultimates, right? We're gonna reboot the universe and everything like that. I would have ridden off that success. I would have started a separate, not imprint, if you will, but like Ultimates was a separate imprint. Was that part of Marvel Now? I forget. Jack?
Ultimates? No, it was before Marvel Now.
So it was not a separate imprint, right? It was just the Ultimates series.
It was its own imprint, like what they did with Star Comics and Epic. It was their own little universe.
Yeah, well, I knew it was its own universe, but like, did they actually run it as a separate imprint? Totally was my thought.
That's debatable. I mean, I would say yes. A lot of people would disagree with me.
Well, I would have started a separate imprint or whatever. Like maybe not like a legal separate imprint, but a separate thing where it's like, okay, you know what? Captain America, Steve Rogers, as presented in the movies, go. You know what I mean? Like that would have been my thing. It would have been like Ant-Man. Okay, what's MCU like? What are they doing over there? Because I'm going to launch off of that and start that comics. Go.
They're already doing that with IDW. All the licensed characters that are at IDW are the movie versions. So if you want to see that universe, go over and look at that.
Well, and it sucks over there. I don't even understand the point of like, why isn't Marvel trying, like Marvel Comics Group? Well,
they're a lifestyle brand, Polly.
Well, yeah, and there's the problem, right? It's like there's excitement around these characters, and we're not going to ride that gravy train. The way I would play it is like X-Men, since it's a restart here recently, right? Is a more serious, more adult-oriented comics. I would say Marvel proper is adult comics. or for our longtime fans, we're not going to disrupt any of the series. And here are all the new ones. If you've watched an MCU film and you liked it, you can grab Captain Marvel, you can grab Iron Man especially, and you're going to see the continuing adventures of Tony Stark with Pepper Potts and all the characters that you know over there. That's just run them as separate comics. I mean, that's not a moment of editorial genius I have. That's the no-brainer course to take.
No, see, I think IDW has the right idea core-wise. They have it aimed at kids. The problem is that it's overpriced at $4, and they don't have the marketing ability that Marvel would. See, if they were smart, Disney would be marketing the comics at the beginning of the movie and have that imprint as a kid's line and have them marked at like $1.50.
Right.
Take the loss on that so you can market the regular books with it, because that's going to bring people in the stores to get the books at the lower price, and then eventually they'll be buying older people's stuff. It's called a loss leader.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go as low as $1.50.
No, but you get my point.
No, I absolutely.
Even if it was like $2.50,
you need to. Honestly, kids don't really care. It's the people in their fucking 30s and 40s that are talking about paper quality and ink quality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if they don't bring in new readers that are younger, the industry's going to die either way.
And this is what kills me. I would talk until I got fired, and I can tell you who would be the one firing me, or the cause behind my firing from Marvel. It would be Sana Amanat. Because I would say this lifestyle brand that you're pushing, Sana Amanat, for those you don't know in chat, she's like no one can ever remember her title, at least we can't hear. The creative director of character development or whatever the fuck. She's the one who makes all the calls. She wants Marvel to be a lifestyle brand. All the cooking that they do on Marvel.com, like their, not Marvel.com, on their YouTube channel, is all like, we're going to make Tony Stark pancakes today. And
oh my God. And all the eating in the comic books that seems tied in.
Yeah. It's like, what is that supposed to draw in the kids in the millennial audience? Where are you getting that idea from, Sana?
Well, maybe the fat kids. I don't know.
That would be my thing. It's like, wait a minute, is this like in board meetings? I would be saying it. I'd be like, wait a minute, your idea is to promote food on the YouTube channel related to comics? Connect those dots for me, lady. They'd be like, I don't think we need this patriarchal white cis male around. And it's like, yeah.
Let's not forget the Wolverine Cajun food.
Yeah.
They don't even know their own characters.
And we all know he's Aussie. Logan's Aussie.
Yeah.
He should...
The X-Men pilot told me so.
So, I mean, he should be promoting Vegemite and meat pies floating in pea soup and the like.
At least that's closer, because at least that was a British colony too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
there's one of the pulp images finally came up.
Yeah, I saw a couple.
Well, I thought that was great. I want to know what that story is. A lady blasting from a motorcycle with a guy in a sidecar and a fistful of cash. That's great.
Okay, so Sana Amanat is Vice President of Content and Character Development.
Yeah. And
Vice President of our love.
And most directly that we can identify is the reason that Miss Marvel still exists.
Miss Marvel Kamala Khan.
Yes, Miss Marvel Kamala Khan still exists because that is her pet project baby character.
On her Wikipedia entry, it has her showing that comic off to Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing is like 12 conversations passed already, but wasn't Marvel Now the imprint for their digital release?
I forget what the fuck Marvel Now was. I kind of pulled it from the
Marvel Now came about when they started doing the character replacements.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Girl Thor and Falcon and all those other guys, that was when Marvel Now hit. So I think it was the supposed to be their updated replacement theory bullshit.
Okay. Like I said, I thought Marvel Now was just when they were starting to not print comics and trying to sell them as digital only.
Thankfully, I missed most of that. So
yeah.
Most of what Quiz said, or Marvel Now?
No, most of Marvel Now.
Oh,
I didn't come back into comics till after that had been going on for a little while.
You know what? You don't understand. I just saw Peggy Carter go by in the bottom right-hand corner. somebody came and was like, well, we need representation for women. And I'm like, and Peggy Carter, super secret agent supreme. Yeah, there you go. You want to retcon her, and it's like a teenage Peggy Carter, like on the come up into intelligence work, finds herself like way over her head and manages to rise to the occasion through adventure behind enemy lines. Yeah, do it. What? Like what I'm not like, let's take Kamala Khan and make her the most whitewashed Disney style Muslim imaginable. It's like, this is the super positive image, and we're gonna like, comic books are not your fucking means to distort, to commit to social engineering, and that's the way that they all see it. It's like Gina Davis and her if a girl can see it, she can be it. The foundation, the Gina Davis Foundation that she runs, and all they do is run behind the scenes in Hollywood, pushing, we need female characters on screen doing the science, because if a girl can see it, she can be it. And her evidence for this is that the character of Katniss from fuck's that movie?
Hunger
Games?
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a terrible benchmark.
Well, their archery sales apparently went up, citation needed. But I would believe it. Like, archery sales went up because of
that. Could have been bow hunting season 2.
Well, it's like, you look at the marketing that happened in and around skateboarding after
Tony Hawk
Back to the Future came out.
Oh,
I saw a study on that, and it's like, yeah, it did. And it's like, yeah, but that was like because Back to the Future, back in like, when did it come out? 1983,
83 or 84.
Oh no, wait! It would have had to come out in 85 because we're always trying to get back to 1985, right? That's the.
Oh yeah.
So it would have had to have been 85. They say
1955 to 1950.
Yeah, they say right in the movie. I don't know how we missed that, but anyway.
Are you kidding? It's like midnight. We haven't done this in a month,
right? That's so the point being is that I saw a study, and it's like, yeah, because it promoted the shit out of skateboarding, and that was a huge movie and promoted the shit out of archery, and girls wanted to get into it. That's fine. You take from that you show women doing the science, and now all of a sudden a bunch of girls are going to be playing with test tubes and beakers and Erlenmeyer flasks. Really?
Look, what good are beakers, flasks, or archery equipment going to do you in the kitchen?
Ouch!
Sorry.
Well, you know what? We were making a sound argument there about how you promote the young ladies into doing things, and Jack came in with his tiny girl brains comment. So we'll just.
I didn't throw out the tiny girl brains yet.
The statements of Bad Comic Reviews does not reflect that of Polygon.
Bad Comic Reviews or anyone else.
My statements do not reflect my own views. Sure, yeah. Well,
if it sounds funny, I'm going to say it.
Well, we're gonna segue over real quick to one thing that I don't want to dwell upon, because I'm not in the mood to be angry, and I don't want to hear what the fucking dead egger fucking cat ladies over at the Mary Sue think for too long. Here, look at this. Terry Gilliam is tired of society blaming white men for everything, and we're just as tired of him.
Oh, get fucked.
Yeah, and
Terry Gilliam is a treasure.
And subtitle reads, "Old man screams at windmill." See, they're, hello, fellow kids. I meme as well. Old man yells at clouds. I don't even want to read the article. Look, here's what's going on. This guy who's been around the block a whole bunch of times because he's getting up there in years. Sure, Terry Gilliam, Monty Python genius, etc. Made a bunch of movies. Brazil is a cult classic. A bunch of people love it. That's him, right? That's Terry Gilliam. Brazil, right?
I don't
think so.
Really, Jack? You too? You don't know that?
Dude, that's been a long day.
You're Mr. Eccentric. I thought you would have. All right. Anyway, I'm just glad that I knew a Bizarro film that Jack's never heard of. That's awesome.
No, I've heard of it. I just don't know who fucking directed it.
No, that would be Terry Gilliam.
Time Bandits. Does that count?
In any case, he sees where it's like everything white man.
Yeah,
and guess what, Mary Sue, that's you. You're the ones who's white men, and you're all a bunch of self-haters because 9 out of 10 people that work there are all white women. They've only got one black girl there, only one. I don't know if you guys knew that.
And she's always wrong too.
Yeah, but it's pathetic. You're a bunch of people that are really angry at your own complexion and try and act like, oh, well, it's not us, the white women. We're part of the victimhood too. It's the white man. Oh, shut up, you self-hating scumbag. Go to therapy. I mean, and like, this is just, and we're just as tired of him. Were you tired of him before he said this? I don't think you were.
I am not tired of him because he's directed some amazing films. Let me give a little rundown for the audience, if you don't mind.
Sure.
He did Brazil. Time Bandits is a great fucking movie. The Fisher King, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which is another great film. 12 Monkeys, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the only ones I care about. He did The Brothers Grimm, but that movie was shit.
Hey, I like that movie.
I'm sorry you like bad movies.
You just don't like Matt Damon. I get it.
I don't like Matt Damon or that other guy that was in it. In that movie.
What's wrong with Jude Law?
He looks like I would keep him away from bus stops, if you get my drift.
Well, speaking of Damons, let's talk about Damon Lindelof.
Okay.
Because I'm looking for segues here, and I found one.
Fair enough.
Watchmen Future is confirmed by HBO, and it's not great news on Happy Face. Oh, I beg to differ. Watchmen is canceled. I'm just going to jump ahead of the news on this one. The rumor is that it's canceled. We should go ahead and read this article to get this stuff. But I'm gonna reach out there and say, one of the few things that Alan Moore ever did with his life that was worthwhile was distorted and putrefied and contorted into a social justice preach fest called HBO's Watchmen, and it lasted one season. It is bathed in awards, saturated in praise, and positively steeped in cheers from all the people that never buy shit and don't matter anyway. The angry 4% of Twitter and all the people who write for garbage tier websites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in other words, exactly who Ricky Gervais was talking to.
Yeah, and who Marvel targets.
Like, I love this. The brilliance of HBO's Watchmen is well and truly over. Yay! Because it wasn't brilliant. It was fucking stupid. It was preachy. It was obvious. It was paper thin. Damon Lindelof couldn't write himself out of a wet paper bag. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Prometheus?
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, you know what? I liked it too. You know why? Because it's the most beautifully shot mess ever put to film.
It's beautiful, like Alien Space Jesus and Aliens.
Are you trying to tell me it didn't look gorgeous? Are you trying to tell me the world building isn't fantastic? Are you trying to tell me that everything, the acting, Michael Fassbender, that guy rocks. That guy's never.
I told you I liked it.
Yeah.
What's that?
I liked it.
Oh, okay. All right. Shit. I thought you were being critical.
What's not to like? It was fun.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was, but don't try. Like, I mean, look at all the themes of it, the stuff that's script related. It's like,
I would say, yeah. If you're looking for deep meaning behind it, then you're pretty vapid.
No, that's why they hate us. We killed Space Jesus.
Well, it's like Damon Lindelof. He thinks he's deep. That's the problem.
Yeah.
He thinks
he's deep, but he's vapid.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring up theme that goes nowhere. It's like Lost. I'm gonna bring up things that go nowhere and just piss everybody off. They're positively convinced it's going somewhere. It's like, I'm going to bring up Greek mythology with Prometheus, the god who gave fire to man, who was punished for doing so. Where's that go? Oh, nowhere. I'm going to bring up all these themes of, the guy wanted one person of faith on board this mission to go find the engineers. And where does that go? Well, at the end of the movie, she says she still believes. Really? That's where it went? Damon, you suck, bro.
Look, I had this exact conversation with a guy at the comic shop like a couple weeks ago, but it was about Watchmen, but not Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying how great Watchmen was. And I said, from what I've seen, it's a collection of great scenes that have no conjoining ideas. And that's what it looks like. It looks like there's some ideas there that he had for a few sequences, like Tarantino does. He's got these great scenes.
Yeah. Good,
but there's
good
nothing
example
in between to connect them.
I gave up after 5 episodes.
Wow.
Of Watchmen. I was like, this is going nowhere and this is stupid. And it's clear where you're getting your stuff from. You guys heard me complain before we went live, Damon Lindelof, in my mind, until he publicly apologizes for one of the stupidest statements I've heard in the last 10 fucking years, I'm just not going to think of the guy as anything other than a hack. He takes Watchmen. He's like, Watchmen was based in the central tension behind the scenes. It was overriding the entire original Watchmen graphic novel story was atomic warfare between the Soviet Union and the United States. He says, now, what is that similar existential threat today in today's world? And his words, by the way, I'm not just making this up. He said it was race relations and police brutality in America are analogous to death and destruction and nuclear winter because of atomic warfare. Same thing. The man's a hack.
It's a very jingoistic way of looking at it, assuming that you went from a global conflict to something that is a tiny part of American society.
Well, it affects only Americans. Oh,
yeah,
I would argue that that's not. I mean, I get what you mean. It's not jingoistic. I would argue that that's what a hack does. Trying to think. Well, okay, atomic warfare was clearly controversial at the time. Like stockpiling atomic weapons was controversial. The idea of mutually assured destruction, and it's insane to have so many weapons that we could destroy the Earth multiple times over. There's a lot of stuff there, a lot of drama, a lot of material to mine, and this hack sits down and thinks, well, what can I do that's controversial? Well, like race, because I live in Hollywood. And I'm surprised that he didn't make the battle over trans people. Like, pick someone else as your shield, you fucking...
that would have been season 2.
Right? So anyway...
Well, I mean, the thing about it is he's also so vapid to realize that the original Watchmen story covered that topic. It did in the comic, not in the movie. I'm firmly of the belief that this dude only watched the movie.
I don't think he watched all of it.
No, I don't think so either.
15 minutes of a highlight reel.
Yeah, because they addressed that shit in the comics. There was the 2 lesbian superheroes that were murdered in their homes for being lesbians in the original comic.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they made a good point. I think the biggest existential threat was the tax on tampons.
Well, way to minimize it. How about the entire pink tax? I mean,
yeah, right. God.
The thing that annoys me the most in this
to be a woman.
It does. You want to buy a pink helmet for your little girl to ride a bike? Costs more than the blue helmet. That doesn't mean you should just buy the blue helmet. It means you should get angry on Twitter. Now, yes. the theme of people saying X is political means race and all the other things that I complain about on social media. That's what they mean when they say political. Yeah. They don't mean political like left, right, personal property versus collective ownership, like, actual policies in politics. They mean race and trans bathrooms and respecting non-binaries' right to be called Zer. Like, that's what they mean when they say politics.
But I'm angry now.
Right? But that's where you get Damon Lindelof saying the original comic was very political. Not in the way that you mean it, as trite as possible. And as of the moment as possible. Somebody coming back and watching, like the first series, the only extant series of Watchmen, is going to be, Jesus Christ, was this ever made during Trump's first term in office? Because you guys are so thin-skinned and have so overreacted with derangement syndrome that it's replete throughout all of media, be it comic books or 40K or movies or what's on. Everything is related to, and as we're going to touch on, it's the new Star Trek series, right?
Well, that's why it's going to age badly. This is going to be one of those things you look at in 10 years and be like, whoa, that's cringy as hell.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's going to be the case or if it's just going to keep exponentially ramping up. I mean, I sincerely hope for a day where we all look back on all of this ridiculousness and just laugh. And I hope that it isn't the sort of thing where this sort of thing just keeps on getting worse.
Yeah, it'll be like watching episodes of like Man from Atlantis, except that's entertaining and cheesy. This will just be like, ooh, Chico and the Man was better written.
with the guy from
chat. Hi.
What's that?
Bianca Fights the Zombies is in chat. Hello.
Man from Atlantis, the guy who starred in the original Clash of the Titans, right?
No, it was Patrick Duffy.
Yeah, that's him, right?
No.
Who's
the guy that was in Clash of the Titans was the guy from LA Law.
What's his name, though? The actor?
Fuck. How do you ask me these things?
I thought that was Patrick Duffy.
No, it was something Hamilton. Hold on.
We all have the internet.
No, Hamill. It's something Hamill, isn't it?
Hold on.
This is all before my time. I don't know. I'm working back.
I saw these in the theater. I feel fucking ancient.
Oh,
fuck you and your stupid pop-ups.
I sympathize. I hate the fucking pop-ups.
Laurence Olivier, Harry Hamlin.
Harry Hamlin. There we go.
Yeah, very different person. Although they had the same hairstylist, I think.
Yeah.
Were they though?
They both had
different people.
Rose.
I don't know.
That curly, like perm look.
And Angela and Ginger Power coming on. Harry Hamlin. It's too late for me to see it. Damn it. My chat's always running a little bit too behind.
You Angela and Ginger, like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, right. It's
10 seconds, man. 10 seconds.
You know what I just found out? That the studio that made the immortal Clash of the Titans, as well as Jason and the Argonauts, they've also got a Sinbad movie.
Yeah, there's a couple of Sinbad movies. One of them has Tom Baker, who was the fourth Doctor from Doctor Who.
Cool. I mean, I'm looking for. The point is, I haven't seen them. I didn't know they existed. I'm really looking forward to them.
Oh my god, yeah, those are classics.
Yeah,
Ray Harryhausen, man, he's a fucking awesome dude.
If they're anywhere along the lines of Clash of the Titans and Jason the Argonauts, I'm gonna have a good fucking time.
Full of all of that stop motion animation.
Yeah, man.
I love stop motion, man. It's so cheese fun. I really like bad movies though, so I'm a terrible judge. But yeah, man, if you like Clash of the Titans, you're gonna love those.
Cool.
They are so much fun. Yeah, absolutely watch those.
It was only like just before Christmas that I even found out they existed. I wanted to know some kind of detail of Jason and the Argonauts that I was watching again, so I went to the Wikipedia page and it named off the Sinbad movies, and I'm like, what? Oh man, I'm all over this.
Dude, I feel like I've let you down.
Oh yeah, so we got this story about fuck man, we are like pothead meth addicts, man. We're
no,
space cadetted, but with full of energy, you know.
We're cleaving to things that make us happy, Polly. We don't want to sit there and talk about, people like Damon Lindelof.
Well, let's look at this guy Justin Harp. He's got that soy boy face, like big time. And let's hear him commiserate with himself over the loss of a show that nobody liked, but people like him. The brilliance of HBO's Watchmen is well and truly over. David Lindelof's critically acclaimed sequel to Alan Moore and David Gibbons' groundbreaking DC Comics masterpiece concluded last month, with fans hoping for more from the former Lost writer. Fans, liar. At least as of now, there will be no more Watchmen.
It's
Lindelof.
Not Comics, it's Vertigo. Isn't it?
What?
I can't remember if that was Vertigo or not.
The Alfred Hitchcock
Watchmen.
film?
Watchmen was not Vertigo until Vertigo became established.
Oh, okay.
When it came out, Vertigo wasn't around yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
So then they moved it over to Vertigo, just like with V for Vendetta.
Lindelof.
Well, I know V for Vendetta is.
No, it is now. It wasn't.
Lindelof has told USA Today that he is not interested in making a second season, though he has given HBO his blessing to make one without him. Oh no, whatever will they do without the brilliance of David Lindelof? HBO's programming president, Casey Bloys, expressed doubts on pushing forward Watchmen without the showrunner, saying at the TCA press tour, quote, "It's really in Damon's thinking about what he wants to do. If there's an idea that excited him about another season, another installment, maybe like Fargo, True Detective, anthology type take on it, or if he wants to do something different altogether, you dare compare Watchmen to the True Detective anthology series? Go fuck yourself. True Detective is interesting and worthy of discussion, and you don't even have to like it, but at least there's something substantive there. We're very proud of Watchmen. But what I'm most interested in is what Damon wants to do. Bloys later admitted it would be hard to imagine doing it without Damon involved in some way. You know what I hear there?
Yeah.
A whole bunch of, this show didn't do nearly as well as we were hoping. This was supposed to be like a flagship HBO series for us. This was supposed to be huge. Like, maybe not.
Our next Game of Thrones.
I was just about to say, maybe not Game of Thrones huge, but big. And we thought the way to make it big was, well, the millennials in the Zoomers like everything to be about race and it to be woke, and white nationalists are bad. So the bad guys are, of course, white nationalists, and all the good guys are all black superheroes. And I love the ever so subtle, not even remotely ham-fisted thing of, reparations for slavery turned out to be a really positive thing when we did it. Yeah, you guys aren't into social engineering garbage at all, are you?
I have a brilliant idea on how to do a season 2 without Lindelof. You take a pile of money and you say, all right, director, you can do whatever you want, but it has to be in your style, and shovel it right toward Roger Corman.
It was recently revealed that the first season of Watchmen was actually intended to have one additional episode, only for it to be canceled because Lindelof felt it would be filler. Lies. I don't fucking believe you. Quote, I was like, we're not going to do the filler episode. We know exactly what we need to do in our end game. It's time to start doing it. I don't want to stall, the writer explained. Lies. I don't fucking believe you. The series bowed out in December to an all-times rating high in HBO in the US when it was seen by an impressive 1.6 million people on its first night of release. Guys, it's HBO. You deliberately put it on that there was nothing else up against it for them to watch that entire night. You promoted the living shit out of it because you wanted to drain as much excitement out of a dying series that didn't have anywhere near the excitement that you had pumped into it in terms of promotion. You promoted it through Variety. You promoted it through Hollywood Reporter. Every shiltastic site picked up on those stories, and it still didn't have the fucking viewership you wanted.
Your hate facts are very upsetting to Mr. Lindelof.
Well, it's like, okay, you know what this is? I keep saying, you're lying. Okay, well, where are you getting that from? Okay, fair enough. I don't know that he's lying, but it's like listening to Roundhead Ryan Johnson talk. Everything is an excuse. Everything is someone else's fault. He's totally got another trilogy coming, guys. Like, it's all lies to make everything sound like, no, the ship is sailing ahead. It's like, dude, it's half underwater. Every man on board is bailing at that top speed. We're going under. No, it's fine. Everything's fine. Like, do you know what I mean? It's all just lies. It's like, man, you ran out of budget for your show. Your one final episode you wanted to do, you were actually contracted to do a full 13 episodes. You totally scuttled your fucking budget in 11 episodes. Do you understand what I mean? Like, those are the true stories of what happened, in my opinion.
Yep.
So you squeeze the story in as tightly as you could through editing, being the showrunner, so you have control to do things like that, and rounded it up. And when people say you're going to do another one, well, we were going to do another one, but because of my artistic integrity, I didn't want to do filler. Yeah, sure, Ryan Johnson. Sure. Bullshit. I don't fucking believe any of you.
I'm going to use that the next time I get in trouble at a job. If I'm working in like a mail room or something, they'll be like, how could you fuck this up? And I'll be like, look, don't mess with my artistic integrity. I had a vision here and you're trying to fuck it up.
That just sounds to me like the teenage excuse, like, hey man, it's not missing. I know exactly where everything is.
Right.
I have a system.
Where is it? Where it's at. So it's lost. No, it's merely mislaid. Yeah, exactly. I remember one time when I was at a job, I was a manager, and the top office manager came down, and I was totally slacking like a month. I was leaning back in my fucking chair. I had Photoshop up on the screen, and I was supposed to be working on this thing to get done for this event that was coming up. And this was supposed to be the graphic for it. And I had all afternoon to do it. I still hadn't done shit. I'm leaning back, and she walks up and she says, "What are you doing?" And I went, "I'm waiting for the muse to visit." And she laughed and like and walked away, and I was like, I can't believe that worked. It was
Dude, you are literally the main character of Office Space after he got fucking hypnotized.
Well, I've never seen that. What is that reference? I don't.
Okay, you've never seen Office Space,
I know.
really?
People keep saying that to me. It's on the list.
Okay, the long story short for that movie, the main character gets hypnotized at this psychiatrist because he has like all this horrible anxiety about his job, but when he gets hypnotized by this psychiatrist, he like pretty much just has all of his anxieties thrown away, right? So he's just this chill guy, doesn't really care or give a shit about like literally anything.
Right.
He goes into his office and just slacks off.
Okay.
It just doesn't do any work. And, his boss comes up and there's like, when are you going to bring me the TPS reports? And he goes, I'll get him. I'll get right on that. And then he goes back to playing like Pac-Man on his computer. And they bring in some like efficiency like consultants and stuff like that. Right. They see him slacking off and they're like, he's probably slacking off because you're not challenging him enough. You need to promote him. So he just fails his way up the ladder. And it's a fun movie, man. You should really check it out.
Oh, hey, Far's here. Hey, Far, how's it going? It's live and direct from Japan. Oh, wow. I feel honored that she bothered to tune in. This is great. But she said,
me back, Japanese girl.
But she says, I feel personally attacked. Okay, go back a few minutes, guys, to with my chat running so far behind. What could I have possibly said that Far would feel personally attacked?
She feels personally attacked because nobody's paying attention to her.
Oh.
And she hasn't brought me a Japanese girl. So when that happens, I will pay much attention to you.
See, that's the thing, man, is that like we live in exactly the wrong place. For her, going to Japan is like just us going to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Canada isn't full of sexy Asians.
So instead of covering another story like immediately, I was talking about the G.I. Joe Real American Hero issue 269, right? Fuck, I should do the thing that we do on Noir Bar where I share what I'm sharing instantly so you guys don't have to wait for the delay. But fuck it. Look.
Hi, Lindsay.
Why don't you screen share it in the Hangouts and then capture the Hangouts in OBS?
Okay. Chat doesn't want to hear why that's not very effective. It would work. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. It would. But there's a bunch of reasons that if I explain it, you'd be like, oh, yeah, that's not best. There's another way that we do it on Noir Bar where they can see it and stuff like that. And after we've wasted all this time, it should be on your screens right now.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. So I love this cover. I think this cover's fucking awesome.
Fucking Snake Eyes in jail?
Yeah. No, and I'll tell you why. This is great cover art because right away you get a whole story from one fucking image, right? It's like, it looks great. The perspective is awesome. He's clearly behind bars and he's in jail and he's like out cold and he's not laying on a bed. So it's like he's been knocked the fuck out and thrown into the jail cell. Right.
Yeah.
And it's, this is part 4 of 10 of Snake Hunt. Anyway, I just really dug this cover and I'm like, this is fucking great. What an eye-catching cover. Then you flip it open and this is where I started talking about like how many Atkins are there? They're working on the art of this book because it's written by Hama. You see there, Larry Hama is doing the writing. Atkins did the cover art and the inks are done by Brian Atkins and the artist is Robert Atkins. But then as soon as you get inside, like did you suddenly get a low page rate, bro? Because the quality of your art diminishes dramatically off what Atkins was doing on the cover, if it indeed is the same Atkins. I mean, it's just like the faces are all warped and looking weird and shit. And and inks, there's not a lot of inks going on here. Stuff's looking, I mean, it's not bad, but it's certainly not great.
That's digital as fuck.
This is what I was talking about, by the way, this image in the top left-hand corner with Cobra Commander talking to, what's her name? The female Cobra officer, high officer here. Say what you want about Cobra. They're snappy dressers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, their outfits look cool.
Yeah, damn right. I love her outfit. Looks fucking fantastic. It's like a senior officer, and Cobra Commander's always been styling, so.
Yeah, the pages look rushed, but I have seen way worse art from IDW.
Yeah.
Like that
And I had no idea they had Larry Hama writing this one.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
he's been
Larry
back for a
Hama's
minute
been
now. Yeah.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Larry Hama is like a longtime writer and particularly associated for a long time with G.I. Joe. It's
Yeah, and I have to agree with BG. This art looks better than Marvel's.
Yeah.
well, that's true. Yeah, BG, you're right. It's for the current art of Marvel, it's this is better. But it's
like check out some of the Spider-Man art from like 2 issues ago when they were doing the 2099 thing. They're on my channel if you want to watch them. Oh my god, it's hideous. And that's the flagship book. And this third string book looks way better than that.
yeah. I just do not think what I'm seeing here on the interior matches up to the covers. So it makes me think that there's another Atkins involved. And like Farr says, it's a family work. Yeah, they handed it off to yet another Atkins brother to do the
Probably. That seems to be kind of a thing over at IDW. But you know what? This art, yeah, it's not great, but it is a third tier company, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I give them a little slack on that, but this art really isn't ready for one of the big book companies, even IDW. But I will cut them a little bit of a break because if you buy a Marvel book with characters you know and love, it's going to probably look at least like this, probably even worse.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, as you've been going along in the pages, it's been getting better in the ink quality. You know, in the amount of use of negative space and stuff.
Yeah, they're cutting corners with the background, and I don't like that. Put some fucking decoration in a wall or something.
Well, I'm just saying that, like, the earlier pages, you know, yeah, you were right. They all had, like, you know, slightly melty face, and the faces were drawn pretty badly. Not gonna lie. But as it's been going on, it's just been getting progressively better.
Well, I mean, like, look at him, like, look at his scooter. If you get to that page in the bottom right-hand corner, if that's currently what's on.
That's kind of shit.
His little Vespa scooter looks. It looks quite quickly done. There is no real serious perspective in terms of foreshortening. It looks like I call it diorama art. You know, like 2D paper cutouts of diorama. Like and that betrays speed of art because you didn't have a lot of time to do it. And if you're getting a low page rate, I kind of don't blame you in a lot of ways. You're not being paid to spend a whole day on one page. So
that's what I'm saying. You kind of have to grade on a curve because this is a third tier book, and the artist is definitely not getting paid top dollar.
Yeah. It's like Vortex says. It's like the pages look rushed. That would probably be the best description of it. It looks like you sped through it, where if you go back to the cover, I mean, that doesn't look rushed. That looks like somebody spent a lot of fucking time at least getting Snake Eyes right, even though the background's a little lame. Good composition, tells a story, caught my fucking eye to the point where I wanted to throw it up and talk about it. But
yeah, I'm absolutely happy with the cover. It's way better than most of the Marvel covers, which are just lazy pinups at this point.
Right.
So at least that gives you kind of an idea what's going on. But yeah, I'd cut him a little slack on the interior art. It's not the greatest, but with the page rate and the deadline, I get it. I don't like that, but I get it.
Hey, Cynical Lindsay, and Brian Wilson's here, and Jacob Jet's here. Hey, guys, how's it going? I would type more in chat, but, oh, man, I got to share my screen one time to show you guys what happens when I type in chat. Like, I'll type in, hello, how are you all doing? And you'll see H, E, L.
But let my Apple IIe catch up.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like it's not that I don't want, and I still don't have autofill where I could type in at, you know, BA and Bad Comic Reviews will fill in. You know what I mean? I still don't have autofill. I don't know why. Looking forward to getting that back. Because that makes just tagging certain people a hell of a lot easier and better, and etc. Let's get rid of that.
If you upgrade from your potato, you can.
Yeah, as soon as I get access back to my PayPal, I'd be happy to. Oh, there's some Bleeding Fool articles, guys. I don't know. Do you want to
you want to talk about Picard?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, should we do, you know, we got to rip this Band-Aid off. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the filthy commie who thinks he speaks on behalf of beloved long-time franchise.
Let's say, now I'm not.
Jeremy Corbyn?
I'm not the most foremost expert in Star Trek here, but I'll say this about it: it's heartbreaking to see Professor Xavier making these sort of statements.
Well, he is going senile. I saw Logan.
Yeah, well, right. Let me tell you this: Patrick Stewart is a great actor, classically trained. He's been at it for years, played an excellent officer. But in the end, hey, Kirk/Shatner rules. There's just, I mean, whether it's the character of Captain Kirk or whether it's the actor William Shatner, there's only one based guy out of all of Star Trek, and that's the Shat Man. Fuck yeah.
Look, Shatner is one of my favorite Canadians, and Kirk is by far a legend. I like Picard fine, but I think Patrick Stewart might be a little dumb.
Yeah, okay. First of all, he's a filthy commie. Let's just get to it. He called himself a socialist. No, fuck you. You're a fucking commie, and you're the fake fucking commies. And Jacob had to listen to me, and Eve had to listen to me carry on a couple days ago, or was it last night? I don't remember. In Discord, talking about, shut up, Patrick Stewart. Look at those designer glass frames that he has on right now. You know how much those cost? Probably more than my fucking rent this month. This guy loves the notion of personal property. He loves it. Yeah. You're a fucking capitalist, you fucking fraud.
Look. Not all animals are equal. Some animals are more equal than others.
Well, isn't that always the fraudulent way? Like, no one ever views them. No one who ever promotes communism ever views themselves working in the collective potato farms. Even though the vast, they all think they'll be down at the Politburo making the big brain decisions.
Well, of course, they're all smarter than you. That's how they end up against the wall. Because the people that start the revolution never live to the end of it.
Judge Death says, why are you showing a picture of Jeremy Corbyn?
It's so strange to me because, like, he fits the definition of bourgeoisie.
Oh Lord, yes. Oh, fuck, so, yeah.
Why would you be communist if you're going to fit the definition of bourgeoisie?
Because it's coffeehouse communism, champagne socialism, limousine liberalism. Yeah. It's
almost every bourgeois socialist I know thinks that they are the proletariat. They all think that they can relate to the working man, and they've never done a real day's work of, hard work in their life.
Yeah, they have no calluses on their hands.
Like, and you know what?
Their ass end from a hammer.
Here's the way that I see it. I'm more on Patrick Stewart's side than Patrick Stewart is on his own side by virtue of his words. Dude, you're a great actor. You're a very charming man in front of the camera. You can deliver lines very well, and you deserve to be rewarded for it if you can put the butts in seats, and you can, right? You deserve to be compensated for that. You've got the skills to put out a product that a lot of people want to see, and there's nothing wrong with you collecting a lot of money for it because, fuck it, you can do what a lot of other people can because you can put out this product. You are involved in heavy-duty capitalism. You love your individual rights. I know you do. And you love your personal property. So what the fuck are you talking about constantly promoting socialism and communism? Patrick Stewart, Star Trek Picard, a response to the fucked world of Brexit. Did you know he cusses all the time now?
Oh yeah, that's what the cool kids do. I say that we take him over, dump him in China, and give him a translation handbook or something, one of those speech to text things, or whatever. And let him kind of just hang out and abide by the communist laws over there. Maybe North Korea. And see how much he likes it then when he's living in a filthy little apartment with pictures of the dear leader hanging on the wall by law. Yeah, I don't think he'd be such a eager socialist then.
And it's like, and it's like, come on, get a clue, old man. It's not like you're oh well, he's young and just doesn't get it. You've lived in the fucking world long enough, but clearly long enough in an isolated, pampered condition where you can talk about what the filthy masses should understand. Oh, it's easy upon your velvet custom-made cushions to be able to tell I mean, this is what Ricky Gervais is saying. You know nothing of the real world. Yeah. You're a bunch of pampered celebrities. Shut up, accept your award, and move on. And you should be awarded if you're putting out a great film product, television product, and people like it. That's great. Now, what the fuck makes you think that puts you in a position to talk down and condescend people about Brexit and about Trump?
By the way, Jack, just in point of fact, I need to bring up one thing. He wouldn't be able to be allowed in China. He has 2 kids.
Oh no, they're repealing that.
Oh, they are. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they got to get some military age people in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and little did they know that would lead to female infanticide on an unheard of level, right?
Yeah, see, they've actually done stuff like this in the past, and the last time they did it, they had to go to war to get wives for their men because there were too many of age men that didn't have women. So
Well,
they went and conquered some places in like Korea, like usual.
We'll cover this.
stole-
We'll cover this short article and see if in that time feminists can figure out that the murder of a whole bunch of infant females is a bigger problem than the thermostat setting in your local office. Okay.
No. It's now
the cold factor in a working environment. That is oppression at its core.
Well,
the fact that some girls are thrown in garbage cans is a white people problem.
According to Mashable, we have to worry about manspreading now. So
yeah, and I learned a man panel today. Manel.
It's
a all men panel.
That sounds like himpathy, Jack, and I won't have it.
I know. I'm up here mansplaining, but I don't man care.
Well, okay,
I need to use that. Hey, you're manspreading? I don't man care.
Yeah. This article is actually the one that Jack sent over from Daily Wire, and Daily Wire coming from their perspective. I mean, that's Ben Shapiro's setup. I don't actually know who wrote this one. Let's say right off the bat. The reason I like is because it summarizes his interview with Variety quite well. And I do want to go over to that. I have the actual original Variety interview open in the next tab. But this one summarizes a bunch of the more insane things that that he says about this new series Picard. Apparently, Sir Patrick Stewart has become so incensed by Brexit and President Trump that he's willing to taint a beloved franchise with his modern political sensibilities. Wow, that is a fantastic first sentence. That's exactly what you're doing. What is it I care about right now? All right, let's inject that into Star Trek and make it... Fuck off.
Holly, he has to do it now because he'll forget by sundown.
Speaking with Variety, the acclaimed actor, along with the show's producers, said that the much-anticipated Star Trek Picard series on CBS All Access, a quasi-reboot of The Next Generation, will be a response to the Trumpian world of Brexit and nationalist populism. Quote, in a way, the world of Next Generation had been too perfect and too protected. Yeah, that was like the idea of like perfected humanity and Earth being kind of like a paradise was the point of Gene Roddenberry's vision, you fucking moron. Yeah. And it's the problems that still persist because of people that underlie the human condition are the actual problem. That was Gene Roddenberry's whole point, you crazy old fuck. But anyway.
Well, I've got a question about Star Trek then. When you are in Starfleet, you are ostensibly in the military, correct? You are a sailor.
No. I mean, they Roddenberry's thing and everybody else's were at pains to talk. They are not a military organization. They're the best way to explain it is they're an expeditionary force. I've always found, which is a quasi military, but they're an exploratory force that's set up like a military, and they have a fuck ton of weaponry, and they're trained as a military and organized with rank like a military, but they're not for the cause of defense or offense. They're for expeditions.
That seems at odds with it. That's neither here nor there. Okay. That's a profession.
Yes.
They're paid.
They're
right?
not. No.
Okay. So here's the thing, right? Star Trek is supposed to be post-scarcity.
Yes.
Humanity under a what? Communism rule?
No. That's one of the things they always talk about, like space communism. No, it's an attempt to like, what happens with humanity and what the fuck do we even do once scarcity is eliminated? Because of replicators and technology. You don't need to kill animals for food even, but you can still eat meat because you can replicate protein sequences and plants and et cetera, right? So it's just like you said, it's post-scarcity. Now what do humans do? And that's the whole point in the Star Trek world.
Didn't they have some kind of money system like credits or something in the first series?
Only to trade with other people, but ultimately all it allowed, the credits that like trade with races that still dealt with money. with different planets is still dealt with money, but all those credits were good for those people was redeeming things inside the Federation. See, you could come up and use those. You could come up and use those credits for access to replicators, even though you weren't a Federation citizen. That kind of idea.
It's working for the company store. It's how they get you. The man is holding all these other places down.
Well, see, that's the thing, is that they never really go into the government involved in Star Trek.
They do. They do. In pretty big detail. There's a Federation Council, and there's a president of the Federation Council, and yeah.
Well, like of like the Federation, but that's not necessarily the government. That's just a sort of like I said, it was enough for me to mistake it for being a military arm of a, you know.
Starfleet is the defense / expeditionary force of the Federation. And the whole anyway, they come under the United Earth Space Probe Agency, if that helps you any.
Okay. So the Federation itself is the government.
The best way to look at it is the Federation, like if you want to compare it to like the United States, the Federation is the federal government of a number of planets, like the federal government of a number of states, and each planetary system or planet is like one of the states. It's autonomous and self-governing, but must conform to certain rules of the Federation overall if you want to be a member.
Well, that sounds exactly like the Imperium from 40K.
So,
without the warp and all sorts of craziness, and there's an occasional thing affirmed in Star Trek.
I'm talking about the purely just governing standpoint. Okay.
Yeah. Now, how do they deal with the libertarians that don't like roads?
Well, they got hover vehicles now.
We don't want your space roads, man.
Well, there's it's like oh yeah, we're building a road. Okay, then move to another planet. Like space is vast, it's scarcity free. So it's like if you've got it would ruin the job of like ANCAPs, because they would have nothing to bitch about all day. It's like, why don't you move to another planet? I don't like the way that things are here. Then move to another fucking planet. It's free of charge.
The bitchiness of an ANCAP.
Yeah.
But they would be revealed for the lazy, miserable, whining bastards that they are. That their occupation is actually me complaining.
Well, did they do an episode about that where there were no grown-ups?
Well, I was gonna say, wouldn't the ANCAP paradise just be moving in with the Ferengi?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The Ferengi are full on ANCAPs. Yeah, they are. Finance is the highest reward, and their entire system of governance is based upon it. Yeah.
Alex said we'll have space Antifa.
Yeah, that would be the Maquis. Anyway, we're way off topic. Let's go back to this article.
I don't know. This is the most education I've had on Star Trek ever.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not really all that well versed in Star Trek. I like Star Trek, but I'm not deep dive into the lore or anything.
Oh, fair enough. But I mean, well, yeah, neither is Patrick Stewart.
That's a good point. It's a good point.
So you'll get a kick out of this. Wait till you hear where this goes. However, for Picard, the show, Stewart wanted a show that reflected today's world, by centering on the drama on how the Federation, the Union of Planets, takes an isolationist turn. Subtle, right? The show for me was responding to the world of Brexit and Trump and feeling, why hasn't the Federation changed? Why hasn't Starfleet changed? Maybe they're not as reliable and trustworthy as we all thought, Stewart said. Here's just a brief description of the plot from Variety. This is the plot, according to Variety, of Picard as told to them by Patrick Stewart. It might not this is the key thing, or a key point. It might not actually turn out to be this way. This might just be Patrick Stewart's musings on a show that he had input on. It's like when you watch somebody talk about Star Trek, like if you've ever listened to LeVar Burton talk about Star Trek, he relates it to the lack of hatred. He relates it to a lot of social stuff. That's his perspective on Star Trek, right? But that certainly doesn't take place in every single fucking episode where it's nothing but an endless get-along gang in space. But to hear LeVar Burton tell the story, that's exactly what's happening. So this might just be Patrick Stewart's perspective, but I think this is exactly how the show is going to turn out, unfortunately. Okay?
Well,
just putting that out there.
for LeVar Burton particularly, there was like some of the most memorable episodes where he was the central character were things like the one where he and the one Romulan were trapped on that one planet and he was without his visor and the Romulan like was paralyzed. So
Right.
the Romulan had to describe stuff for him, to fumble around with being blind, whereas the Romulan couldn't actually do anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And you could tell that like LeVar Burton really likes stories like that. LeVar Burton's written a number of novels himself, and he's very much interested in social issues and interaction issues. So that's his perspective. Okay. Mm-hmm. And it does happen, but it's not the entirety of the show. So like I'm saying, maybe this is just Patrick Stewart's musing on those themes that are present, but it's not going to be as insanely ham-fisted as he's making it sound here. Because here's the description that he gave Variety and Variety penned up.
Hang on, before you do that, I had a quick question. The audiobook versions of LeVar Burton's books, does he read them?
It's a good question. I don't know.
Because if he does, the Reading Rainbow theme has to be on at the beginning.
Hey, the Reading Rainbow theme is brilliant and catchy.
It is, but, just saying.
Butterfly in the sky.
Can do anything. Take a look. It's in a book. Yeah, it's a great. Oh man, that was a great song.
You're welcome for everybody that got that stuck in their head now.
I can fly twice as high.
Okay. Anyway.
Cynical Lindsay, that's a great one. I'm willing to bet in Picard Starfleet will be the dirty colonialists.
Well, wait until you hear. This is great. Okay. Picard finds its hero living in near isolation in a very uncosmic French vineyard. He is retired and estranged from Starfleet, the interstellar navy to which he devoted most of his life. He's haunted by a pair of catastrophes, one personal, the other societal. The death of his android colleague, Lieutenant Commander Data, as seen in the film Nemesis. Spoilers. And a refugee crisis spawned by the destruction of the planet Romulus, as seen in Abrams' film Star Trek, which is Star Trek from 2009, right? When those two seemingly disparate strands of his life cross, Picard returns to action, this time without the backing of Starfleet, whose moral center has shifted. Real-world parallels are not hard to identify. Yeah, supposedly the whole thing is Starfleet does not want a whole bunch of Romulans who are like completely socially incompatible. They're supposed to represent Romulans, or excuse me, Romans. The Romulans are supposed to be Romans, where they have a very stark sense of values and morality. They're a militaristically organized society, and their home planet now gets blown up, and they have centuries of distrust and hate for both the Klingon Empire and the Federation, and the Klingons and the Federation are allies, and they have wanted to destroy them all. They're extremely suspicious, and the Romulans are extremely xenophobic. They don't trust anyone but themselves. And a whole bunch of Romulan refugees come into Federation space because their home planet gets destroyed. And Picard's going to be the guy like, no, we have to welcome them and give them free healthcare. Like, this is going to be the Brexit tone of the thing, according to Patrick Stewart.
Well, that's the thing, is that the Romulans have always and ever been the enemy of the Federation, haven't they? In every single version of Star Trek.
Yeah, because they're militaristic and xenophobic, and they are arrogant by nature. They think they are nature's peak creation and ultimate society.
Okay.
Kind of like communists. I'm just saying.
No, like the Eldar in 40K.
Stewart went on to lament how both the United States and Britain are fucked under President Trump and Boris Johnson. Now, keep in mind, when he did this interview, Boris Johnson hadn't won yet. The trouncing had not happened of the Labour Party yet. Imagine what he'd say now, after his beloved Commie party got destroyed.
Say they're double fucked.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one is in the most trouble, said Stewart. I think it's the UK, actually. I think we're fucked. Completely fucked. I mean, he's so hip.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart has previously expressed dissatisfaction with both President Trump and Brexit. Speaking at a Comic-Con event to promote the series in November of last year, Stewart said his pride in Britain dwindled when the country voted to leave the European Union. His exact quote is as follows. For the last 35 years, I've been so proud to belong to a country that was part of the European Union, Stewart said. I am embarrassed to stand here in front of you representing a country that is seeking to break that invaluable connection. You want to hear why?
Is he Diplomat?
No, get this. Well, this is why the title of the episode, right? Picard is a diplomat. Stewart is a commie. Because listen to this. Stewart went on to claim that Jesus, I can't even believe he claimed this moron. Stewart went on to claim that half of Britain wants to stay in the European Union, an organization he credited with the bringing down of the Berlin Wall and the ending of apartheid in South Africa. What?
What?
And it's just in case you think they're exaggerating, quote, I want you to know that well more than half of the population of the United Kingdom wants to stay in the European Union, Stewart asserted. Really? You should have waited another couple of weeks and seen how that election turned out, jackass. You guys got trounced. The Brexit let's go ahead and do it party won handily and destroyed your commie party.
I was going to say, the Brexit party, or Brexit, won twice.
Yeah.
I need to point out something in chat that before it disappears. Merle Davis said Romulans in cages.
I agree.
Romulan kids in cages. That's
no, child separation and in cages.
Well, you know, and I'm hearing Far's comment. That's exactly what I thought. Hello, fellow kids. Aren't we just so fucked? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say hello, fellow kids is the one thing that was coming to mind. Also, Jack, I just went and checked it on Audible. There are several books narrated by LeVar Burton. None of them were penned by him as well.
That's okay. As long as they have the Reading Rainbow theme at the beginning, I'm cool with it.
Okay.
Well, Far says South Africa is in the U. What does that even have to do with the other? Exactly. Well, listen to him try and connect these things in his addled old mind. It's like,
yeah, he's a tottering old man.
Yeah, it's half the population in the United Kingdom wants to stay in the European Union. Well, you turned out to be wrong, Stewart asserted. The Berlin Wall came down. The Soviet Union ended its dominance and control over so many nations. Apartheid was ended in South Africa. The Good Friday Agreement brought together both Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. The European Union is all part of that movement. And it's a disgrace that individuals in my country are attempting to separate it. What the fuck, bro?
Dude, the reason why the Berlin Wall fell and all of those countries left the Soviet Union is because the Soviet Union collapsed. It had nothing to do with Europe.
Yeah, right. They tried to outspend the people that invented credit cards. So, that was kind of dumb. And
I mean, dude, what else are you gonna claim was a result? And we were all part of that movement. You see what he's trying to connect? The fall of the Soviet Union. Yeah, another prime example of the death of your beloved Marxism, motherfucker. Pay attention.
Right.
You know what I mean? And the fall of the end of apartheid and all the good things that happened, and the European Union happened too. See, these are all good things. He said, we're all part of that movement. What movement? What are you fucking talking about? But guess what?
I told you, he's kind of dumb.
Over here in the actual article, real world parallels are not hard to identify. It is 1 week before the parliamentary election that will see British Prime Minister and Brexit hardliner Boris Johnson's Conservatives win a staggering victory over their Labour, read Commie, rivals. And Stewart is not feeling optimistic about the near future. He did this interview a week before, and they wrote up the article after the staggering defeat of the commies at the voting booth. So it's like it's trying to explain away all of the stupid things that Patrick Stewart says in this article. That little moment right there. Now, get this. Of the U.S., he says, there is a time limit to your fucked state, which is only 4 years away. He expresses hope that, quote, the United States has given us the Trump administration and it can change, but adds he will likely get reelected.
It's because he knows that rhetoric like this does not resonate with people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to realize something very important, like people that advocate for social justice. You are against the grain. Why are you against the grain? Because everything that you are trying to pushes for an idea that excludes everyone. You say you're all about inclusion, but all you are doing is excluding every single person that doesn't think like you. That's the reason why I've said it a million fucking times, as a person that thinks very liberally, I think your ideas are full of shit.
No, you might as well just be a MAGA waving
Apparently.
Jingoistic Bible thumper at this point, because that's what you are to them.
It's
You're not lefty enough. It's agree or nothing.
I love the way the election turned out. I love the public, popular response to Ricky Gervais's statements. It's you idiots, you media elites, like the news entertainers, as I like to call them, and the actors, all these people, you are way the fuck out of touch. You angry 4% on Twitter, the ivory tower people on campuses, they're displayed as being incredibly out of touch with what the majority of people think. And they're extreme and they're angry and we're fucked and everything's going to hell. And it's like, yeah, but you're the only bastards who think this. No, other people are not seeing it the way you are, champagne socialist.
I don't like Ricky Gervais, but he said something that needed to be said to Hollywood. And it would probably ruin him. Future careers.
I don't know much of Ricky Gervais's stuff at all, but I'm willing to check out his stuff now because that speech was fucking brilliant. He the bit at the end too is like the last 2 minutes were absolutely juicy with accept your award, shut up and go sit back down. Oh my God, thank you so much, Ricky, for saying that. What have I been saying every single goddamn time this shit comes up on Comic Book Curation? Oh my God.
The fun police are killing everything. They hate that you like anything that they don't. They can't stand it. And it's nice to see somebody who's kind of on their side say something to them about it.
Yeah. Just to show you that this stuff continues on. Here's into other things, and Star Trek, of course, is related to comics, and I'm still really enjoying Year 5 and all sorts of other things that are going on in Star Trek and comics. But the politics stuff continues on. Here's a comic that I'm reading right now, Strange Skies over East Berlin, right, from Boom Studios. You ever heard of this, Jack?
I think I pitched it a few weeks ago.
Did you? Okay. It couldn't have been a few weeks ago.
I'm sorry I haven't updated the database yet.
Well,
I'm going to be on that in a sec.
I spaced out on it if you pitched it because I've been enjoying it. It's.
I know I did videos on all 3 issues.
Okay.
But I thought I pitched it. The art is a little surreal, but it works for the story.
It really does. I agree. The art's a little bit out there, but it's nothing I don't like. I like it. It works for the story. It sort of is what it is, and I'm enjoying it. Great Cold War story. It's what you would imagine. I don't want to ruin it for anyone out there, but let me just flip through a couple of the pages so you guys can take a look at the art that we're talking about. Yeah, you know what it kind of reminds me of a little bit? Meltdown. Her Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown.
Oh yeah.
It kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
I like that art a little better.
It's a
little more experimental. This has more of a Euro-centric feel to it, which is good because it takes place in Germany.
Sure. So this is a story that happens in there's a streak across the sky, UFO, different things are happening, but it's based in and around East Berlin. Look at this. This is great. This streak across the sky. This is that's so dynamic. That picture, you get a sense of the intensity. The truth finds you is the only text on the page. This is great. This is what splash pages are made for. Stuff like this right here.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, I'm enjoying it. 6 was here and now he's gone. See you later. Have a good night, 6. But what I wanted to see how it had been received, out there on the Shiltastic sites, right? And
I recommended
it. I said the Shiltastic sites, not you.
Oh yeah, my bad. Someday. I'll get that shill.
I'll get paid.
I loved the here it is. CBR doesn't get more Shiltastic than them, right? Strange Skies over East Berlin #1 is gorgeous, but uneven. And it's like, okay, listen to the first fucking paragraph. And Jack, you've read it, so you tell me just what the fuck are you even talking about? Okay. Lobbing a fantastical element into a very specific moment in history makes for some truly fantastic comic books. Works like Ex Machina, which is set against the backdrop of a post 9/11 cultural shift in the United States, show asking what if can almost be as compelling as asking what happened. This isn't to say that these stories don't take away from the impact of actual events. Having a working knowledge of the event of a story that the event of a story is set around elevates a reader's experience. Strange Skies over East Berlin, number 1, doesn't ask much of the reader, which can be beneficial to reaching broad audiences, but the bare bones tone of this debut issue is a bit of a mixed bag. The fuck?
I don't know what they're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. What the fuck are you even talking about?
I bet they didn't know what the Stasi was, and they felt irritated that they had to go look it up. That's the only thing I can think of.
Get this second paragraph. Strange Skies over Berlin follows Herring, an American spy, at his wit's end after spending so much of his career infiltrating East German intelligence. Things go quickly from bad to worse when a mysterious beam of light rips across the sky, shaking the foundation of self-imposed partition of the nation, and possibly hinting at something far more dangerous than anyone can anticipate.
Did he say self-imposed?
Yeah, I know. Hold on. If you mean the Russians the Soviets took control of it, and therefore they owned it, thus they imposed it on themselves.
Yeah, I know. The Germans didn't impose that on themselves. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll do whatever you want, America and Germany.
Yeah. And yes, like the vast majority of works of art, this is a political book. All right.
Not really.
I see where you're going with this. Not that I couldn't have guessed before.
Trump's America.
Yeah, they're gonna ham-fist it in some way.
It is Trump's America. You ready? Watch this. One doesn't have to reach very far to see the stark parallels between how the Berlin Wall affected the people of Germany during the Cold War and all the rabble-rousing talk of building walls that flood certain corners of the American political spectrum.
No, that's bullshit.
You just compared the Berlin fucking Wall to building a wall on America's southwest border with Mexico. You're fucking kidding me, right?
That's insane. There's no checkpoint, Charlie. No one's shooting you for leaving. Leaving Mexico.
Well.
Yeah.
and the Mexican government wouldn't be shooting you for leaving. They'd be helping you dig tunnels underneath it.
Yeah, right? Because they don't want them there either.
Like, you could not have two more disparate examples that are both walls. And wait a minute, I thought walls didn't work anyway.
Yeah. Well,
what about the Great Wall? That one kept out Mongolians, right? Was that one successful?
Far's got to go. Okay, see you later, Far. Glad you came by. Sorry, I probably totally missed her and she hung up a long time ago. Oops.
Was that one successful? The one that kept out Mongolians?
No, that didn't work. And neither does the one that separates Palestine and Israel. That one doesn't work at all.
You know what did work a little bit is Hadrian's Wall. Because you had to like step right over, and if you're a drunk Scotsman, you're face planting.
Well, I mean, have you ever seen Hadrian's Wall? It's symbolic on purpose. I mean, it was a make-work project. You could literally step over it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It kept the drunk Scotsman out because they're like, I can't step over that. So I'm falling. I'm down. Man down.
Man down.
Man down.
So I bring this up because it's like, man, I don't even know barely anything about this comic, even though I've read it. And oh yeah, by the way, this is a CBR exclusive.
Of course.
It's like you're writing about like most works of art are political. No, they're not. Number one. Okay. And then number two, you don't have to work hard to see the parallels about the wall that Trump wants to build. Yeah, actually, you got to work real fucking hard. Like you had to torture that fucking metaphor, cocksucker.
Oh my God. Yeah. The fact that it's set in East Berlin isn't for a political reason per se. It's to create a sense of time and place.
Yeah. And the paranoia and the intrigue and the pressure that the main character is under, and that's a great setting for all of those things.
Yeah, the book starts out with him helping people get over the wall so they can escape into the West. Fails, but not the point. But that's what he's trying to do when the alien ship goes by. So it's creating a mood, a setting. It's called world building.
Well, I've got to wonder, when did CBR just start writing editorials? Because this has nothing to do with the comic and has everything to do with the author's interpretation of the comic.
Actually, you're right, because if you look here, this is under the reviews section and this is labeled as a comic book review.
So how is that an exclusive?
Well, we've joked about that for over a year, man.
Everything.
Well, I'm just saying that's not news. That's editorial.
Jack's entire Bad Comic Reviews channel is nothing but exclusives. You should announce that.
I am an exclusive machine.
Did you guys chat? Did you know you're watching an exclusive stream right now? Because I don't know why not.
Dude, we need to start doing that. Comic book curation exclusive instead of live. Yes, that's it. Comic book curation exclusive.
I don't know if anybody in chat or you guys watch Red Letter Media, but they did like their the Nerd Crew, and it's supposed to be a play on it's a satire of all the people that sit around and endlessly shill and promote Star Wars movies and so-called geek culture when these guys are obviously not geeks themselves. They're not really into these things. They're just promoting it, right? And one of the things they repeat ad nauseum is, this is exclusive content exclusively for our exclusive membership.
Oh, speaking of exclusives for members and exclusives, on Sunday, my 2 patrons will get a new video. Just wanted to throw that out there. Ooh. 10 a.m. Eastern.
Subtle shill.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
I did that when we were backstage before we started.
So wait a minute. So wait a minute, but that's legitimately exclusive content.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's legit exclusive.
You're going against our satire joke of exclusive.
Yeah, but
double exclusive.
I'll forget if I don't say it now. So if you're supporting me on Patreon, if you're one of those 2 people, or you join Subscribestar, you'll get the bonus video.
I like Assassin of the Great Cure exclusive.
There you go.
Cure exclusive.
Well, I mean, that's CBR is full moron, man. All of their stuff is just, there's a brand new first if it's the first woman, trans, gay, POC, whatever. Like every week they've got brand new material in that direction. All of their people, when you click on the author's name and, okay, let me go check out your social media, your IG or your Twitter, and it's all just fuck Trump. They got the pride flag in their title. These are exclusively the people. Oh shit, now that word's all dirty. These are solely the people that they hire to write this stuff, and unsurprisingly, they use it as a platform to bitch. This is a blog. CBR it's become an opinion fucking blog.
Yeah, well, they gotta resist Trump or something. Like they totally misinterpreted that book, and that is a really good book. I had a lot of fun reading Strange Skies. I thought it was a really good miniseries. 4th issue I don't have yet, but so far first 3 have been really fun.
I've only read 1 and 2, and I've been enjoying it so far.
I
did not once think of Trump's wall. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
The whole time I was like, wow, East Berlin sucks.
Yeah, I saw it as a Cold War graphic novel and a Cold War intrigue graphic novel. What? That's great.
It's a piece from its time, and to try and apply it to today is disingenuous and lazy.
It makes less sense than injecting fucking current politics into Star Trek. I mean, shit.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So how do you make less sense than that?
Yeah.
That's
a little callback too. Good job.
So as a kind of like a mini pitch, yeah, if Jack hasn't pitched Strange Skies over East Berlin yet on Comic Book Curation, we're both tandemly pitching it now as a pre-pitch. How about that? It's definitely worth checking out. It's a fun read. No, it's not the deepest thing ever, but the art's great for its purpose, and it's worth the cover price. More I can say for you, Marvel.
Yeah, and it's by Boom Studios, so give them a chance, see what you think. The art's not going to be for everyone, but it really does add to the story because it's got this like surreal 1970s acid trip quality.
And it's got, I don't know where it's going to go, but as soon as I read like, the streak across the sky, and it's like, is it a UFO? Is it this? And I'm like, oh, tell me this goes in like an X-Files direction. You know what I mean? Like that was my first thought. Yeah. I love the idea of not magical realism, but something that it's a very, very realistic world, except include one thing that's supernatural or paranormal or whatever. And now the people are dealing with it. That always makes for good storytelling, in my opinion.
Yeah, and they still have their own stuff to deal with, but now they've got this crazy, odd, no schema to draw from wackiness going on too.
Yeah, yep. That's just fun times. I think we should move on to pitches, gentlemen. We've been streaming a long time, and it's about that time.
I ain't ready.
You're not ready?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm still fucking transferring stuff.
Well,
I'll see if I can find my pitch on perfectly legitimate sites, and yeah, I'll go last then.
Subtlety. Well, do you want to do another story while he does that, or you want to
hold on, I'm just reading something that I didn't know. There's a God Loves Man Kills extended edition coming out.
What?
Yeah.
That's
cool. Chris Claremont is doing Dawn of X now. I knew that.
Oh man, X-Men 4 was such a pain in the ass. If you guys haven't watched my review on it, which just went live a little while ago, watch it after this, because man, that book really pissed me off. Is that subtle enough?
Yes. Oh yeah, here. So quiz. Well, here, I'll put it up on the screen and you can take a look when it comes up. There it is. There's the cover. God Loves Man Kills, the extended cut. It's a new edition.
I may need to get it. I love my trade paperback I've got of it, but yeah.
So that'll be, the man, Kitty Pryde's outfit was weird back then. Anyway.
She's had a billion different weird outfits. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
She's not allowed on Krakoa, so.
Well,
Is Magneto allowed on Krakoa?
Yeah, but he's obviously one of the loyalists.
One of the good ones. Okay, I got it.
They keep a few of the good ones around.
I just find it weird that she's all Anne Franked up, and she's not allowed to go on the island. That's all I'm saying. I just find it weird that the young Jewish girl isn't allowed on there. On the Exno state.
The Exno state.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep calling it that until they stop being supervillains.
Let me move this guy over here so we can do the pitches.
I hope this will download fairly quickly.
Yeah, Cynical Lindsay says that cover's good.
Whichever one
that's a good brand new cover.
Yeah, I like it. Was Magneto even in God Loves Man Kills? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, no, he was.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious as to what they're going to do, like, in terms of the extended cut. Because usually when you get special editions, like, I've got like 3 different editions of Dark Knight Returns. And there's original sketches and stuff, and those are always fun to have. But when you call it extended cut, it makes it sound like it's got extra pages or something in it.
I'll tell you exactly how this is going to happen.
More story. Yeah.
There won't be any more story. There'll be some like sketches and like the script included, and there'll be like a new introduction from Chris Claremont or an afterword or something. And then there'll be a big fold-out map of Stevie Cebulski sticking his penis inside your wallet. It takes like $40 extra out.
Yeah, I'd hate to hear the deal behind that, because it's like they bring Chris Claremont back in, and it's like, to bring him back in, they must have paid him quite well, because he,
he's been on their payroll. There's a rumor going around. I think he said this before, that they pay him to not write for other companies.
That has got to be an awesome fucking gig.
Well, it's dumb enough to be true, though. That's
right?
the problem I have with it, is I could totally see that.
Wow.
Well, there's things like they modify payment for exclusivity. Like if someone is writing exclusively for your company and they
Yeah.
can't freelance for anyone else that's in their contract, they can negotiate for a higher salary. I'm wondering if that's probably, one of his negotiated terms.
It wouldn't surprise me, because if he started writing a knockoff X-Men book, it would most likely outsell the actual X-Men.
Well, yeah.
Hey there, Unholy Reaper. How's it going? All right. So here, I'm just going to do my pitch right away because I'm ready to go. Oh, here it is.
Okay.
All right.
Excalibur, Heir Apparent. It's a prestige format mini graphic novel that they put out about the original Excalibur team. As you see, there's Captain Britain, Megan, Nightcrawler, Shadowcat, and Phoenix. The actual Phoenix, Rachel Summers.
That's not Phoenix. She doesn't have the spikes on her outfit.
Well, no, she does. She's just wearing a coat. See? Anyway, it's what makes this interesting is the kind of story that they take with it. The idea is that the Heralds of Galactus, one of them was a guy named Airwalker. And after the humanoid Airwalker was killed, Galactus created a robot form of him and imbued it with the power cosmic that he had given Airwalker. That robot has broken loose on Earth, and each one of the members of the team of Excalibur are sent to track down a different part of Airwalker to sort of rein it all in. And what's cool about it is it's told in multiple parts with a different artist doing each part with a different inker. So here's the first page, drawn by Ron Lim, and I'm a big fan of Ron Lim. He did the entire Infinity Saga, both Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War, and was a longtime artist for Silver Surfer. I'm a huge fan of Ron Lim's art. This is them telling the background story of Airwalker when he fights Thor and then gets blown up, and then they contract Excalibur to hunt down the various parts of his power in his body and the robot itself, and then his psyche. And so each one of them goes separately. So now it's off to a separate story by a separate artist. This one is done by who did this? Eric Larson did this part, I think. And this is Nightcrawler trying to track down the powers that are being held by this bald guy, and so on. Well, it's true. And no, this is Eric Larson. Look at the art. This is Kitty Pryde doing her thing. It's a great story because it's like four short comics in one in the form of a graphic novel. It's available. I checked over at Comixology. It can be found cheaply. Here's Megan in her individual story. And then I love the one with Rachel Summers, Phoenix, going after the big man himself, and is drawn by Rick Leonardi, who I think is like a really underrated artist. He was the artist that did the original Spider-Man 2099 and did the character design for Miguel O'Hara and Spider-Man's costume, as awesome as it looks. Yeah, that's all Rick Leonardi. And so I love his art style. It's pretty stylized, but I dig it. It looks so cool.
Rick Leonardi is underrated. I hear everyone singing his praises everywhere.
Good. I don't. That's good to hear.
Oh.
I to me, it's like everyone's like, Todd McFarlane's the greatest fucking thing that ever fucking lived. Like it's, I don't know. There's only certain, and of course, Jim Lee, but he deserves all the praise he gets, the bastard.
Well, so does McFarlane.
I guess, but I mean, I don't know. I just don't think Leonardi ends up being like up there. And Ron Lim, everyone knows his art, and the guy's a workhorse, but I don't really hear people cite the name. I don't know why. So anyway, it's a fun story. It's a great adventure. You get to see each of them operating independently instead of doing the group thing. And each one of them gets stuck on their own because they only have their own powers to rely on, as it were. So like Nightcrawler has nothing but his bamfing and his acrobatics to fight with. And Megan only has her mimicry abilities to use, and etc. So they're all stuck on their own in solo adventures, but it's really part of a group effort that they're all doing. Great story. It's called Heir Apparent. Readily available either as a cheap used edition or digital through Comixology. So that's my pitch.
Nice. Good classic.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Good.
I haven't read it in like 20 years.
there's a number of little prestige bookshelf. I don't know what to call them. Like they're around the length of Gotham by Gaslight, for example.
Yeah, they're prestige format.
Yeah, so that kind of thing. There's like 5 of them that are Excalibur. There's the original one, The Sword is Drawn, that set up the entire Excalibur series and why they came together as a group. And there's like 3 or 4 more, and that's just one of them. I think that's probably the best one next to The Sword is Drawn.
So that was around the time they realized that they could get these in bookstores on bookshelves. So it was kind of the explosion of the prestige format. That's when we got like Gotham by Gaslight and Havoc and Wolverine Meltdown. There was a lot of stuff coming out around then.
Yeah.
They really kind of nailed down the graphic novel format that you see now that came out of the prestiges.
Wait a minute, happy birthday. Whose birthday is it? Unholy Reaper?
Yeah.
Oh, happy birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday. That's awesome.
You want me to go next?
Yeah, you totally can. Hold on. Let me put you up.
I'm not going to be done in time.
I'll drag it out.
Let me just share you. There. Shoot.
Okay, I am pitching Tarot issue 1. See this cover? How beautiful it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's an Alan Davis cover.
Really?
Yes, it's a variant edition because you know who wrote this book? Alan Davis.
Really?
Yeah, they dusted off Alan Davis. I bought this purely on a whim based on the cover. I was like, wow, classic style art. I'll just buy it. Fuck it.
And for those of you who don't know, Alan Davis is the genius along with Chris Claremont behind Excalibur.
Yeah, Alan Davis is a fucking legend of the 80s and 90s, in my opinion. So this is written by Alan Davis with interior art by Paul Renaud, colors by Paul Mounts, and a bunch of other people that you don't care about. But this is the Alan Davis variant cover, and I happened to grab it because I like this cover better, and I thought it was sweet looking. So I thought, well, I'll give it a chance. It's Avengers Defenders. And look at the lineups or the originals. You got Namor, you've got, oh my gosh, who's that? That's
Sif.
the real Valkyrie.
Oh, that's okay. I thought that was Sif.
Nope, that's the original Valkyrie, Silver Surfer, Doctor Strange, and look at these Avengers, the classic lineup from the 80s. So you get into this, and Namor is having a little flashback to dealing with a guy that he doesn't remember. Like, he thinks the memory's fake, but he knows that it's real. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oberfear Occult. He remembers fighting him with Cap and the Human Torch, the invaders, and they were fighting these golems. But when he goes and starts thinking about it, he's like, I don't remember this happening, but the memory feels real. And then we kind of cut forward to what he's actually doing, and they're trying to fight this evil wizard, and they decide they got to go to the Avengers Mansion and find the last piece of this MacGuffin. And things go horribly wrong when they run into the Avengers. The Avengers are fighting the Vision. There's something wrong, and there's, of course, evil afoot. It is just good old-fashioned fun. This is like Bronze Age, Copper Age type storytelling. Back when comics were good, there's no political nonsense in here. It's the old school lineup of the Avengers and the Defenders, as they should be, just doing an adventure. There's no, I didn't see anybody sitting around eating in this entire book. It was amazing.
What year is this?
It just came out like a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I was shocked when I saw Alan Davis wrote this.
Yeah,
like honestly shocked. Like I had to keep checking because I was like, did Alan Davis?
Yeah.
And sure enough, it reads like old school Marvel. If you like Marvel from the, say, the mid 80s to like 94, you'll probably like this book. I mean, look at that. This is good art,
right?
Not trash. It's just good old fashioned fun. And you know what? For $5, I was more than happy to pay it once I read it.
I love that Human Torch pose. Tell it's Alan Davis. It looks like one of his classic Rachel Summers' Phoenix poses.
Yeah.
Covered in flames and such.
It's just all around solid look. The art is Really good. I mean, I don't know who this guy is, this Renaud guy, but he draws very, very well. Paul Renaud, something like that. Renaud, something French sounding.
Rayonnant.
Yeah, but I really liked it. The Hulk is Big Dumb Hulk, so he talks in like childlike sentences. It's really fun, and everybody's kind of depowered. It's nothing insane like Iron Man could hurt Thor, that sort of thing. It's just it was a lot of fun. I was really happy to see this book. It made my week. This is easily one of the best books I've picked up in the past like 6 months, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Awesome. How many pages does it run? Like,
oh, it's a lot. It's I don't know, probably 35, 40.
Cool.
It's pretty thick. I didn't want to ruin the twist ending because it's got a pretty cool twist ending that I did not see coming, but made sense once you actually see it. So I didn't even show anything from like the last, I think, 3 or 4 pages. But I was just so impressed with this. It was just like old time Avengers and old time Defenders. If you like the 70s and 80s and early 90s, you're going to like this, I think, especially if you're an Avengers fan. So classic lineups, a good story by a classic writer. And of course, I cannot sing the praises of this cover enough because this kind of happens in the book. So yeah, good times. I really liked it. I highly recommend checking this out.
Good pitch. Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
stalled as long as I could, Quiz.
It's fine. I don't have any interior art. I just have the cover. I know.
Right. Well, that's fine. Let's see the cover.
That's the reason why is because it's part of an event. I'm pitching one specific issue in an event.
Okay.
But I've got the cover. So anyway, let's see here. Where is the thing? Let me bring that up. This one is there it is. 1 second. 1 second. I need to get the thing so I can tell.
Yeah, cynical Lindsay. She's like, "There's my boy Silver Surfer," and it's like, "Yeah, I hear you. They done Norin Rad wrong after that fucking Silver Surfer Black." Just
yeah, yes. This was written by Fabian Nikiza and Scott Lobdell. Artists Andy Kubert, Adam Kubert, Greg Capullo, Joe Quesada, Ken Lashley, and John Romita Jr. This one is part of a big event crossover, but I'm pitching one in particular. I'm pitching share screen, application window, that application, share. I'm pitching Fatal Attractions, X-Men number 25.
okay.
This one is, in particular, is after the events where Magneto and his acolytes lose Asteroid M. Asteroid M is destroyed. They take over a space station from Cable, nearly killing him in the process, and rename it Avalon. And the X-Men try to, of course, stop the, international terrorist of Magneto. But in the process, this is also during which Professor Xavier actually has an exosuit made for him by the Shi'ar Empire, where he's able to walk around and actually, go on the mission. But during the fighting on Avalon, Logan gets separated from the rest of the X-Men. And this is the issue in which Magneto rips out Logan's adamantium skeleton.
Oh, really? This is the issue.
This is the issue. So this sets the tone for X-Men throughout most of the 90s. In fact, actually, the Wolverine specific issues after this issue all deal with him have his body coping with no longer having the adamantium. And it's a very long the whole like sequence and scene where Magneto rips the skeleton out of Wolverine is fucking brutal. And Jean Grey is like using her telekinesis to hold his flesh together so that he doesn't, die. and they're able to bond his flesh back together eventually as his healing factor goes through and does it. But in retaliation for doing this, Professor Xavier makes Magneto a vegetable. So
that'll learn him.
This is this was a time back in the 90s when these sorts of things had real consequences. I mean, Wolverine didn't get his adamantium back until, God, what was it, like the early 2000s?
Yeah, it was several years.
Yeah, it was a long time. That like these sorts of changes were permanent for a long time until they started fucking up comics. Yep. And of course, we all know what's to blame for that. It's the death and return of Superman. But no, this was definitely an issue back then when it had gravitas. Like these sorts of events had consequence and meaning. And this was 1993. So anyway, yeah, that's my pitch.
Issue 25 of X-Men. Okay.
Yeah, the whole Fatal Attraction series is great.
Yeah, that's the last storyline I think before I dipped out. Well, maybe it was Phalanx.
Yeah, I like the Phalanx Covenant too. That was a really good one.
I never finished it. I was just like, fuck this. I'm tired of buying all these books. Like, this one had the hologram sticker on it.
Yep.
Yeah,
and you have no idea how many people had that sticker come off.
Dude, I have multiple copies of all of the Fatal Attraction series, and all of mine have them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, all I remember is like it pissed me off because I'd put it in the bag and it left this square on the bag and it pressed into the backer board of the issue in front of it.
Yeah, it would do that. Especially if your long box or short box is like chocked full of comics. Yeah, it would definitely do that. I would say if you want to know all of the comics involved in Phalanx Covenant, it was Uncanny X-Men 298, 99, 300, 301, 302, 303, X-Factor 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91, Unlimited X-Men 1 and 2, and then the actual Fatal Attractions is X-Factor 92, X-Force 25, Uncanny X-Men 304, X-Men 25, Wolverine 75, Excalibur 71, and then the epilogue of the Fatal Attractions was Uncanny X-Men 305, 315, and the annual 17.
Well, and most of those were like foil covers or had holograms or other dumb shit. That was the height of the buy our special cover thing for double the price of a regular issue.
Oh, yeah, this is 93 and the cover price was $350.
Yeah, that's insane. That's more than twice a regular issue, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. I would say regular issues I think were like $1.25.
That's what I was thinking. That's what made me mad. I dropped a lot of titles because of that. I couldn't afford it. And I had a job.
I'll say this: the reason why I was okay with stuff like this, like with the Fatal Attractions and the Phalanx Covenant in particular, is because they were pretty sparing with how many times they did this sort of thing for the X-Men.
Yeah, well, it got ridiculous because like the Avengers, it was almost every issue for like 6 months.
Yeah,
some lost bullshit.
Yeah, and what's worse is that sometimes they would do that like in the middle of runs for no terribly apparent reason. Like there's actually a really good one, but unfortunately, if you were only collecting X-Men, you only got half the story because the other bit in it was continued in Ghost Rider.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Then the Midnight Suns books did polybagged issues on the first one, and then like 10 issues later, it was this like really cheap cardstock cover that was just black.
Polly bagged all his own issues. Anyway, with that pun, we'll be moving on.
Yeah. I would be concerned if Polly didn't bag.
Polly always keeps it bagged. You don't know where those women have been. So anyway, thank you for joining us for our 72nd episode. I believe it was 72. I think it might have been 71 and I fucked up. Yeah, well, whatever.
72 now.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, there it is. It's been well over a month since we did one, so it's good to be back. It was fun. We got to find out what an incredible commie Patrick Stewart is, you bastard. So there it is.
Promise it won't be another month until our next one.
Yeah, it won't be another month till our next one. And we'll probably, when we do them, we're going to do them on Wednesdays again. I think that's a good day to do them. Friday nights, nobody wants comic book curation Friday nights. And I can't always promise that I'll be available because, you know,
well, yeah,
having a life
back.
and all.
What's that like?
Yeah, right.
Stressful, honestly. But in any case, thank you, everybody, for joining us here. If you haven't liked the stream on your way out, please feel free to do so. And if you haven't already, share the tweet that we sent out on social media. It really does help spread the message. If you're listening in the future, please feel free to comment beneath. I get a chance to read them all, and we get a chance to respond to most. I haven't actually responded to a few of them over the past little while, but I'm going to go back through all of it. Christmas was a rough season where I was extremely busy, busier than I thought I was going to be. So the responses kind of fell off, but I'm definitely going to get back on that. So what you'd like to see, what you don't want to see, what you enjoyed about the show, we want to hear it all. So thank you for coming by, guys. Jack, Quiz, thank you for being here as always. It was a good time, and we'll talk to you again. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.